Hello, dear friends. I hope everything would be fine on your part. Up to now, we have completed around 8 chapters in physics. You are already, I think, learning chapter number 7 of physics. Now, today we will start a new chapter, that is chapter number 9, Mechanical Properties of Solids. In this chapter, we will introduce a new concept which is slightly different than the concept of rigid body. We have already studied chapter number 7. In chapter number 7, we have studied that a concept of rigid body. We studied that the rotation of the bodies and then realized that the motion of body depends on how mass is distributed within the body. In actually, we restricted ourselves to a simpler situations of rigid body only. In general, we say that a rigid body means a hard, solid object having a definite shape and size, and the relative distance between them will not change. But we know that it is not true in real life. In reality, bodies can be stretched, compressed, and bent. Even the appreciably rigid steel bar can be deformed when when the sufficiently large external force is applied on it. This means that solid bodies are not perfectly rigid, and we have to accept that in universe not a single object is perfectly rigid. All the objects have some deformation can be produced inside them by some external means of external force. Now we are focusing ourselves on solids, that we are going to learn that mechanical properties of solids. In general, a solid has definite shape and size. So this is a normal property of solid, that we can say that solid has definite shape and size. We all know that. We have already studied in our that earlier stage of the study of science that we have differentiate solid, gas and liquid on the basis of their dimension and their size, their shape. We say that gas do not have, or gases do not have any particular shape, and they do not have exact shape. In the same way, liquid also do not have a particular type of shape, but solid has some particular type of shape, that is distinguishing solid from gas and liquid. In the same manner, we also say that gas has its size, but it is having separate molecules, and their molecules or their particles, or we can say that the atoms of the gases are having very much distance in between them. In comparison to that gases, we have also studied that liquids are having less distance than the gases and having more distance than the solids, and therefore they also have some loose bonding in between them. But this bonding is loose or looser than the solids, but it is higher than the gases, and therefore the liquid remains in the formation of the liquid. But again, I told you that we want to focus on the solids. So here we say that solids particles or the fundamental particles or that basic particles of the solids are very near to each other so that they forms this type of shape and size. So solid has a definite shape and size. Now in order to change, or we can say that to deform the shape of size of a body or the size of the body, a force is required. So we can say that the shape and size can be deformed or changed by external force. So that shape and size changed by external force. So we can say that to change the shape and size of the solid object we need some external force. This external force, if the length of the spring increase slightly, or we can say that if you stretch a helical spring by gently pulling its ends, the length of the spring will increase. When you leave the ends of the spring, it regains its original size and shape. We have this is a very simple and a routine example or a routine experience of our life, that we all have made this experiment in our life, that we have pulled it and we have released it. So when we pull the spring, obviously the length is increased, and as we release it, it again regain its original size and shape. The property of body by virtue of which it tends to regain its original size and shape when the applied force is removed is known as elasticity. So here, on the basis of this external force, we will define two type of object, that is elastic object and the nature of elasticity. So here we will move to that also, that elastic or elasticity nature. So here first elastic object, here first we will focus on that, then we will learn that another type of object of solid. So here again we repeat, the property of a body by virtue of which it tends to regain its original size and shape when the applied force is removed is known as elasticity. So elastic body has elasticity nature. So elastic body has elasticity, that nature of elasticity, and this deformation caused is known as elastic deformation. However, if you apply a force to a lump or a putty or mud, so here the example for the elasticity is a steel spring. Here we have this example, while here we are going to learn another type of object. Again, be careful what we are talking about. We are going to learn that properties of solid, particularly mechanical properties of solid. These mechanical properties are basically related to shape and size. So now see another type of object, that they have no any gross tendency to regain their previous shape and they get permanently deformed. So when external force is applied on it to deform them, then they do not have any tendency like a spring that they want to regain their original form, their original shape and size back. These type of objects, these type of substances are called plastic, and this property is called plasticity. So another term, another nature, that is plastic nature, and the object which has this type of property is called plasticity. So this property is called plasticity and the object is called plastic. So putty and mud are close to ideal plastic. So we can say that this is putty and mud are of this type of example. So here we can simply say that in the beginning of this chapter we will learn many different type of properties of solids. Here the basic construction, that we can say that intuition particles or internal particles which are the fundamental of any solid will have two type of natures, any of one type of nature. One say elastic nature, in which when we apply some external force to deform them, they will initially deform, but when we release or relieve the force of that deformation, then they will try to regain their original form back. They will have the tendency to regain their original shape and size back. These type of objects are called elastic objects, and this property of that objects or solids is called elasticity. The spring is a best example for that. We can say that normally the metallic objects are of this type of tendency. In the same way, another type of nature, that is called a plastic type of nature of the solid, in which when we apply some deformation force over them, they deform, but after deformation they do not have tendency to regain their original shape and size back. This type of nature is called plasticity, and these objects are called plastic. The putty and mud are of the example of this nature. So this is the basic thing that we want to know. The elastic behavior of materials plays an important role in engineering design. Obviously, now we will see that how all these things that we will learn in this chapter will help us in different field of the science. So first we can simply say that elastic behavior of materials plays an important role in engineering design. For example, while designing a building, knowledge of elastic properties of materials like steel, concrete, etc. is essential. The same is true in the design of bridges, automobiles, ropeways, etc. One could also ask, can we design an aeroplane which is very light but sufficiently strong? Can we design an artificial limb which is lighter but stronger? Why does a railway track have a particular shape like capital I? Why is glass brittle while brass is not? Answer to such questions begin with the study of how relatively simple kinds of loads or forces act to deform different solid bodies. In this chapter, we shall study the elastic behavior and mechanical properties of solids, which would answer many such questions. So, my dear friends, this chapter is very interesting. If we go with this chapter, we will have many conceptual ideas that will be cleared. Here we have particular 2 or 3 important questions as well, which are useful on a long run also. So we will start this chapter and we will learn that what are the important of the chapter. So that will be in the next session.